The Josh Allen vs Patrick Mahomes rivalry will be renewed in this upcoming divisional game. Bills Chiefs, the rematch of a couple of years ago, Allen vs Mahomes. The only difference this time is it is in Buffalo. In today's episode, we preview and predict the NFL Divisional Weekend, and stay tuned for our reaction to the Pettersson contract situation. Pettersson news from the NHL.
Yeah, so not really news, it's the lack of news. That's the best way to put it, right?
And we react to Mike McCarthy keeping his job with the Dallas Cowboys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe.
As always, make sure you guys follow all our socials linked down below. We're almost at 100 followers on TikTok. And audio listeners, make sure you guys download it, whatever platform you guys use, and rate it and review it out of the 5 stars as well. Before we continue, just want to share our condolences. We got some sad news out of the NBA. Golden State Warriors assistant coach Dejan Milojević. I really hope I didn't butcher that, but he has passed away at the age of 46. He was hospitalized on Tuesday in Salt Lake City and was in critical condition after, I think they were part of a team dinner. After a decorated 15-year playing/coaching career, the Serbian native joined Warrior staff in 2021. He was a beloved figure in global and league circles. So rest in peace. We heard this news later today. The Golden State Warriors game against the Utah Jazz has been postponed, rightfully so. Condolences to the Golden State team, front office, everyone involved in the Golden State, but most importantly to Dejan's family and friends, his wife and 2 kids especially. So sad news to start off with this podcast as well. So rest in peace. Another bit of sad news. Colts owner Jim Irsay. Some of you guys probably have seen that he was. Some of you guys have seen that the reports that came out, he has some serious respiratory illness that was announced after the last game of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But reports also came out this morning that in December he was found unresponsive with blue skin tone. So there was an emergency call. It was due to an overdose on opioid, he was treated with Narcan, a medicine that can reverse an opioid overdose. Sorry, that's the thing. So there was some overdosing things. Jim Irsay obviously has a history. He's acknowledged that. He's said he's tried to get help many times. So get well soon, Jim Irsay. Hopefully you come out of this strong. So those 2 news. We got to start off with a little bit of the heavy hearts on the side of things, but we'll get right into it with today's topics. But for those of you guys probably watching the title, they're like, why is this not the trade video or Pascal Siakam? You guys ain't going to talk about Pascal Siakam. He got traded today. We already dropped that video out. It was dropped yesterday, literally an hour after the trade was announced, which is not official as of this recording yet, but that video is already out. So make sure you guys check that out. That was our immediate reaction. Separate video. So we're not going to talk no Pascal Siakam today.
I love you, Siakam.
But or we'll probably address something later on if something comes along the reporting. But let's get right into it.
As usual.
NFL Divisional Round.
NFL Divisional Round. This is the video for our preview and predictions. And let's just go by each game. And we'll start off with, what do you want to start off with?
Let's go with the biggest game.
Biggest game. Bills Chiefs. Right, that is biggest game?
Yes.
Okay. Bills Chiefs, the rematch of a couple of years ago, Allen versus Mahomes. The only difference this time is it is in Buffalo. Right? So it's almost deja vu. You can say.
The thing is, like Mahomes said it, he's like, at this point it's a rivalry. Right? At this point. And they've had obviously regular season matchups. They've had playoff matchups, which Mahomes has gotten the better of.
Trilogy.
So
right here.
Mahomes, and he said it perfectly, they're trying to make this rivalry similar to Manning Brady. Right? Which has been like, they played each other a lot in the playoffs. They played each other a lot during the regular season. One obviously got better in one part of the thing. You know what I mean, right? And this is kind of going up to it. I'm not saying it's the same standards yet. Time will tell. But yeah, Buffalo Bills, the key from this is they're the hottest team. They're the home team. Kansas City, in my opinion, I know your opinion, you said they're kind of back. My opinion still, I'm not fully sold on that offense because they played a Miami team who never beats good teams. And Miami was the team in the freezing cold. And Miami, we all know, is in Florida, which is hot. So there's a lot of question marks still. I need to. This game will determine for me. But let's talk about Buffalo. I'll get that started. The keys to victory, this win streak, and all that.
Yeah, Josh Allen coming in hot. Turnover-free game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was the biggest stat. But when you're playing a Chiefs team, we've seen it happen before to him. You don't turn over the football, you could still lose.
Yeah.
The key to this game, or two keys right here, is Josh Allen obviously not throwing an interception. The second key is, how is this brutally injured defense going to hold up?
Yeah. So they're playing obviously a better defense than Pittsburgh, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Chiefs defense is much more of an upgrade right now at this season.
And the cold doesn't affect the Chiefs. I mean, sure, it doesn't affect Pittsburgh as much.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh
either.
also didn't have TJ Watt.
Yeah, true.
So that's also a big factor.
And this defense is healthy, right? Their D-line's been playing well. They got some guys playing well in the secondary as well. So yeah, like for me, like the Chiefs, which is weird to say, is still carrying the games more than the offense, and rightfully so, which is the main reason why they beat the high-powered Miami offense again. Miami's usually doesn't do well against the good teams.
That's also play calling issues as well.
Yeah.
And Tua's decision making.
But yeah, Steve Spagnuolo will get the defense on the right spot there. Your point about the not even just interceptions, do not turn over the ball, because he does go hero mode sometimes, which exposes the ball, and fumble mode. But yeah, that's going to be the key.
There's one thing Buffalo has this time they didn't have the first two times they played each other in the playoffs. Exactly, run game. Joe Brady.
Well, at least the usage of a run game.
Joe Brady is making sure that James Cook is going to be a weapon in this game.
Yeah.
Right? He's done that. James Cook is one of the top leaders in rushing. Obviously, you wouldn't have believed that when Kent Dorsey was the OC. So Joe Brady has put on the emphasis that Josh Allen is not the only running back on this team. And which is going to prevent Josh Allen. The more times you get the ball out of Josh Allen's hand, it's obviously good and bad. Bad being because you want your playmaker to make the play, right?
Yeah.
But the good is he's not feeling the pressure every time, because he could just hand it off to James Cook and the O-line could do their thing as well. So that's also a key factor there.
Yeah, so Buffalo, like I said, it's going to be a close game. But let's talk about Kansas City now. And defensively, I already said that they're going to be a better team defensively. I mean, they should be the same team defensively for sure. Offensively is the question marks. And Travis Kelce had his only incompletions were his drops. So it wasn't even like it was Mahomes overthrows or anything like that. That's number one. Rashee Rice helped this offense. Hopefully that continues. That's the main thing. Sky Moore is coming off the IR for this game as well. And I'm not saying Sky Moore is some like world beater, but at least he'll help in certain senses. But again, the key is, can this offense just click? Right? Like you're right. Last time when we were arguing, Mahomes did.
It clicked. It did click.
Mahomes made Mahomes plays like they're running for sure, right? But again, I'm not discrediting what the offense did, but I just want to see it now in a hostile environment against this team, because like Miami's history shows, they only had one big win this whole year, and even then they almost lost that game. And again, they're playing a Miami team that is in the cold.
Miami,
no excuses.
Miami sucked. All right?
I'm not saying that's on Kansas City.
Yeah.
Now it's the true test. Like like for example, the other matchup is Baltimore and Houston, right? If Kansas City does win this game and they look good doing it offensively, then this team could go back to the Super Bowl for sure.
Obviously.
That's the only way I could see it.
The thing with this, Chiefs are coming off a dominating performance. There's no simple as that.
Yeah.
They were dominant offensively, defensively, and special teams. Altogether, they played a full complementary football game. They haven't done that all year until the Miami Dolphins game. They still put up 26 points. Mahomes did Mahomes things. Rashee Rice had, I don't know how many receiving yards, but he had enough, like good enough to carry the thing like last year where they didn't really have number one. Travis Kelce, for me, is the biggest question mark as a pass catcher. Can he be the vintage Travis Kelce?
Yeah, that's the thing.
If Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce, this offense is cooking.
The other thing is, can Rashee Rice do it again? Because if he does, that will help Travis Kelce. If he doesn't, then this offense ain't going anywhere. I don't trust Kadarius Toney. He's shown it multiple times. Sky Moore, I think, has only one.
Rashee Rice is honestly, he had a promising rookie year.
Yeah, he's been their best receiver.
He's
not named like Travis Kelce.
He's been promising.
Yeah.
Right? As a rookie, he's shown so many flashes this year. So I could put my trust in Rashee Rice for a little bit here.
But now the question is, they're traveling. right? So it's prediction time now, unless you have more to add.
That's it.
Kansas City.
Yeah, just prediction time. They are traveling. Can you pick against the Chiefs?
I can't.
You can't, but I will this time. I am going with the Buffalo Bills. Reason being, I do believe it's going to be the same thing as 2 years ago. We're going to get a classic game. It's just that this time, Patrick Mahomes' receiver might drop the ball. Or Josh Allen will get the ball last, right? And at the end of the day, the Chiefs do have the better defense. But that time, the Bills had a better defense.
Remember, the overtime rules are changed.
Yeah, overtime rules are changed.
Because of that game, it got changed.
So we'll see if that takes an effect too. But the Buffalo Bills, as long as Josh Allen doesn't turn over the ball, I think they'll be able to win this game. And they just can't let Mahomes get into a rhythm.
Yeah. The thing with this game for me is, beginning of the year, I said Buffalo makes it to the Super Bowl. Then obviously the confidence went downhill. Even talking with Nick Shook, it went downhill. Now it's back up. I wasn't anticipating this to be the second round matchup, that's for sure. And if I go with that logic, I should pick Buffalo. But then I'll obviously change my mind. That's Baltimore going. I'm going to pick Kansas City. And it's because Patrick Mahomes, we haven't seen him there's a first for everything. We all know this. But I just think that he'll make the bigger plays. I think Buffalo will be playing. What were the teams that Buffalo played during that winning streak?
They played the Cowboys. They played the Chiefs. They played the Dolphins. They played like some stinkers like the Chargers and the Patriots as well.
Okay, I just want to.
Will
this be the best defensive play outside?
Now it's going to be the Steelers as well.
So is this the best team they've played?
They played the Chiefs defense already, and they played the Cowboys defense. Okay. So they played good defenses. So
yeah, they already played them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Chiefs revenge game. Give me the Chiefs. It's gonna be a close game. Because to be honest, even that Pittsburgh game, yes, it was closer than it was, but there was that little time frame where it was like it could have went bad for Buffalo. It just happened to be.
But Josh Allen played well. He didn't turn over the ball.
Yeah, so the question
you can't blame that on Buffalo.
No. I'm just saying there was that time period though where something could have went wrong.
Something could have went, but it didn't.
It didn't. But my point is
that could be the game changer.
I'm saying the Chiefs are a team that could capitalize.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But the thing is, you can't capitalize if they didn't make the mistake.
But then again, the Chiefs are also a team that was relying on field goals a little bit more.
In
the game as well. But I'll go with the Chiefs. I don't know if it's just because I'm just going with. Don't go with what hasn't worked.
You're being boring. That's what you are.
Yeah. But I'll go with the Chiefs.
But yeah, I'm going with the Bills. Next game, we'll stick with the AFC.
Yeah.
Ravens, Texans, 1 versus 4 seed. And we'll start off with the Texan side because they have been the more surprising story for sure. Again, we're going to say it every time. When you're a pocket presence like CJ Stroud, when you could pick apart the defense like CJ Stroud with how accurate you are, CJ Stroud, you got to protect him. That is the number one key for the Houston Texans. They have been doing that the last 2 games. Nico Collins needs to continue what he has been doing. Last 2 games, 15 receptions, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, average of 18.5 yards per play every attempt to Nico Collins. So that is them offensively. Defensively, can you repeat the same performance as you did against the Cleveland Browns?
Questionable Robert Woods. That's the only one that has a chance of coming back to playing on the offensive side, which will help them. John Mechie also questionable.
Laramie Tunsil's health should be questionable as well, just because.
I don't see his name on here.
I know he's not on the thing, but like I'm still gonna put it in there just because he has been hurt. Like he got hurt in the Cleveland Browns game, and you need him at 100% or close to it as much as possible.
So for me, this is the only team left in our top 3 underdog pick. I can't sit here.
They're underdogs.
I can't sit here and say Baltimore is like won't get upset in this because of the way Houston's playing. Let's make that clear. So I'm not saying that that's the case. And you're right with the pocket presence and all that. But this defense they're going against is insane, right? They have a bunch of Pro Bowlers and All Pros. Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. You got Patrick Queen. You got all these guys in the front.
Roquan Smith, Madubuike, Jadeveon Clowney's having a good year himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Ravens defense, yes, the Browns were a good defense, But this Ravens defense shows up every game.
And
the Browns defense didn't show up every
with the
single
lack
game.
of, and yeah, because obviously the reason why you picked the Browns was because they had the historically great, supposed to have the
Yeah, so like
great
the
defense.
Browns, the thing with the Browns defense, they weren't good on the away. 2 games, obviously, one was a Houston one.
Yeah,
One was against the Indianapolis Colts when Gardner Minshew destroyed them.
yeah,
So, yeah, this Ravens defense doesn't matter, home or away, especially in this late stretch. They held the 49ers in check. They held the Dolphins in check. Those are good offenses.
yeah, and because of that, it's gonna be tough to go for Houston to win, even with CJ Stroud the way he's playing, because they only have one weapon.
Yeah, but
Mainly.
flip side, Ravens. This is the best Ravens team since they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Right? We could agree with that. Better than Lamar's unanimous MVP year in 2019, I believe. It's a way better team than that. Another key factor is Mark Andrews could make a miraculous return this week.
yeah, he had a full practice. He was a full participant today, and he's still on the IR, so they have to still activate
Yeah.
from it. Like Sky Moore was officially activated from the IR. He needs to be activated.
If
from
he's
it.
activated,
But the thing with this game,
this makes this team better.
yeah,
And
for
how
sure.
does this team
as
get
good
better?
as
How can he
Isaiah
make?
likely has played for them?
Yeah,
Mark Andrews is better,
yeah, and like
and he has that chemistry.
the way that Ravens have been playing,
Yeah.
you can't say they play any better. Mark Andrews will make them better.
Yeah,
Another factor, Lamar is known to be a playoff choke artist.
exactly. I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, so don't choke like Dak and Tua.
So the thing is here is, this is a game where it's like kind of like Dallas Green Bay. Baltimore has pressure. They
do.
have the most
Yeah.
pressure. Houston's playing with the house money, in my opinion, because
Yeah,
Houston wasn't even
100%.
supposed to.
They're not here.
Houston wasn't supposed to be here.
They're supposed to be a 5-win team.
Exactly, max. Even,
Yeah.
right? And they're playing with house money. That's why that team, in my opinion, is scary to win it all. Baltimore didn't have meaningful games for like 2 weeks. Now they didn't have a game last week.
Yeah,
and then
that's
they
true,
didn't
yeah.
have a meaningful game. So we saw that what happened with Cleveland for that reason. But again, Lamar should win MVP most likely. Even though he's not my pick, but he probably is the MVP. He is the MVP favorite, and pressure's on him because he, like you said, he's known as this playoff choker. Can he get over the hump? I believe he can.
The good news for Lamar is that like he already got the main monkey off his back by having 0. Like he has one playoff win.
Yeah.
The one thing that gives me more hope now than more than ever, Lamar. This is the best Lamar we've seen. In my opinion, better than his 2019 year when he won MVP. Again, Ravens defense is clutch, but the biggest factor for this Ravens team is the healthiest we've seen him in a long time.
That and Lamar has
part of the
weapons.
season. Yeah.
And that defense is playing insane. So prediction, it's easy for me. I don't know it's easy for you. It is Baltimore for me, and it's mainly because I just think this team is way too talented, top to bottom. You got the best kicker in history on your team as well. When you need him to be clutch, yeah,
I'm gonna shock the world.
no way.
Okay, I'm not.
No way.
I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. Nothing against the Texans, but I feel like your story comes to an end here. It's gonna be a close game. I think Ravens will be in control in most of the part of the game. I think they'll end up with a 10-point victory. We'll say 31-21. Because I do still believe in the Houston offense.
As much as I don't want you guys to win because you're in the same division as Indy, but if you do win, it's a win-win for us because we put them in our list.
As well.
That's
yeah.
the main thing.
But the main thing for the Ravens is to eliminate the explosive plays for Nico Collins.
Yeah, and
Right.
they will do that.
And they definitely have the ability to do that. But let's move on to the NFC side. We'll stick with the 1 seed as well. Another team that has pressure to win is the San Francisco 49ers versus the high-flying Packers coming off an incredible upset over the 2-seeded Cowboys. Packers side of things, we'll start off there. Jordan Love needs to be perfect again.
Playing with house money again.
They are playing with house money, but we're talking about keys to winning. What you did against Dallas, just find a way to copy-paste that.
Minus the ending bits where you kind of like obviously
Yeah, well,
Normally
that's more
they-
on the defense
yeah.
as well.
um
Find a way to copy-paste that, you'll have a chance.
the problem though is
You can copy-paste it,
but
but you could lose.
the problem though is Aaron Jones gonna have that running game again. And they're playing San Francisco's defense. Steve Wilkes is getting head coaching opportunity interviews at multiple places. So that's the big question mark. Do I think they replicate it? No. I think it ends here, unfortunately. Green Bay is on that the win streak. They've been killing it for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
obviously
they were
destroyed the Cowboys.
Like the Buffalo Bills, they were playing playoff games before the playoffs, which is obviously going to help you in the playoffs.
But now the question is also, as much as I like saying momentum carries on for both, even bringing back Houston for a little bit here, the wear and tear on the body, right? It's football at the end of the day. Something can go wrong because of the wear and tear. The other two teams, like I said, not Houston, but the two number 1 seeds got to rest their players.
Especially
now, let's see if it's rust or if it's rest.
Yeah,
that's the question mark.
The big rest factor is Christian McCaffrey as well. But another thing is, even if Jordan Love is perfect this game, they could still lose because of the Packers' defense. At the end of the day, they did not look good against the Cowboys, especially in the second half as well.
You're the youngest team as well, right?
Yeah, so we're not saying like you're gonna win. We're not saying that like you have pressure to win. Like, you're gonna be back.
Yeah,
you're gonna make this NFC, which was a 3-team race at the beginning of the year. In the next couple of years, you're gonna throw in the Rams. You're gonna throw in the Packers as well as like NFC contenders.
Yeah,
as
Lions.
Well, and obviously Lions as well.
We'll get to later on, but
Niners, in my opinion, more high-power offense than the Dallas Cowboys.
Brock Purdy takes care of the ball, you'll win this game.
Exactly.
That's the only thing for me.
They have a better run game than Dallas, obviously led by McCaffrey, and Niners are not choke artists.
Yeah,
they're the ones.
They're the one team that, if anything, Green Bay chokes against San Francisco for the last couple of years. And I get it. There's totally different teams and totally different circumstances. So,
but especially going into the Bay Area,
and
it's gonna be tough.
San Francisco is also like outside of the Baltimore loss, their only losses were that little mini stretch they had in I think October, November period.
Yeah, that
right?
3-game losing streak.
And then the 4 games they played, they lost. Brock Purdy was concussed, and Brock Purdy played terrible because of that concussion plus the Baltimore game. He was horrible. And unfortunately, you're not playing Baltimore's defense again, right? You don't have to worry about Baltimore till the Super Bowl. And
Baltimore defense is not the Packers defense.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
So that being said, it's a very easy prediction for me, unfortunately. I think this one I'm giving, like, I would give Houston a chance because of Lamar's history and Baltimore's history in general. This is my team that I'm not giving a chance. I'm not giving Green Bay a chance.
Yeah, I apologize, Green Bay. You done incredible. You made,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
You made the NFL happy.
You're gonna probably make our 8 or S tier whenever we do our rankings.
Yeah, you made the NFL happy by eliminating the Cowboys, but your time has come to an end. I apologize.
Or will come to an end. It hasn't come to an end yet.
I'm confident. It has come to an end. But yeah, last game here, the Lions and another surprise in the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers is not as much of a surprise the way the Eagles played, I guess.
As well, but geez, they can't tackle. But yeah, we'll start off on the Lions side. Coming off a playoff win, that's not normal in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right? Especially for Lions fans. But this is, like we said, this is Cowboys' best chance. This is Lions' best chance, right? The NFC Championship game isn't like you're holding on. You have one hand on it right now. The other hand, you just need to beat the Buccaneers. That you are a better team then.
The one thing I love about this is there's already some beef on social media going on. Baker Mayfield versus CJ Gardner-Johnson Jr.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at CJ Gardner-Johnson as well.
Because he's saying that, like, Tampa will be good, but they need a better QB.
Yeah.
He rebuttals by saying, watch your film. We haven't played Russell Gage or whatever the case, blah, 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 right? Whatever they were saying. So you're already going into this game with a little bit of personal side of things. I'm not saying it's completely personal, but so that's number one. Number two, Baker in the playoffs, yeah, he might lose this game for sure. Don't get me wrong. But Baker's kind of performed in the playoffs. Cleveland,
3 games.
This game.
Baker.
You're also having a team, Tampa Bay, led by Todd Bowles, who's won a Super Bowl, with Mike Evans, who's won a Super Bowl, with Antoine Winfield on that defense, with Chris Godwin and all these guys, right? So they have the championship pedigree with them.
The Buccaneers are, like, you don't think that, like, oh, yeah, these guys are going to fall off. Like, at the end of the day, nobody expected them to be here.
Yeah.
Right? We all expected the Saints to win the division.
Yeah.
As well.
Exactly.
Baker Mayfield, 3 playoff games, performed well in all 3. Considering he had to play the Steelers, the Chiefs,
and at the time, the top Steelers.
At the time,
the top Steelers. The Chiefs.
The 2-seeded Steelers.
And then the Rams weren't anything. None of the Rams.
It was 3-seeded Steelers, actually.
Oh, wasn't that one?
Yeah, no. The Steelers were 11-0. Like, they had an Eagles clap.
Oh, yeah. So that one.
Chiefs, obviously, and then the Eagles. He played 2 teams that after week 11 were the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And ended their season like basically cemented their collapse.
Yeah.
The Steelers and Eagles. But yeah, no, Baker obviously, again, like Jordan Love, you gotta copy paste your performance.
Yeah.
This Lions defense on paper is worse than the Eagles defense. But then again, when you have Aiden Hutchinson there, when you have CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's going to be scary to play against.
The big thing for me, Detroit's got to be physical. They're going to be physical, obviously led by Dan Campbell. They got to be physical
Hey, man,
to win this game.
the one thing Dan Campbell does is teach his team how to tackle.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to be the thing. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one issue for them offensively, do not drop the ball because they had many drops. They could have blown that game out in the first quarter if they wanted to. Flip side, defensively, Vita Vea needs to be the MVP of the game for their defense. Reason being, Detroit's a run offense, right? When you have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, Vita Vea needs to plug those holes like how he always does. And Tampa Bay's run defense, as usual, is really good.
Yeah. The thing with also is they got to contain Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, as
and
well.
then if you contain Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have Jameson Williams as well. Right?
Yeah, but like there's a
they
drop
have
off,
pieces
right?
there. But I'm more concerned about Detroit's defense than I am with their offense.
Yeah, that's true.
Only because like we've seen stints of Detroit's defense in the regular season not live up to par and made games closer, or they had to come back and beat the Bears or whatever the case may be. And honestly, I as much as I want to see Detroit versus San Francisco, I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
Riding with Tampa Bay.
I'm riding with Tampa Bay on this one.
Yeah, well,
you call me boring? I'm switching that up now. You're calling me boring? But no, like I was thinking, I'm like, if an upset were to happen out of all the 4 games, this is the one. In my opinion, as much as I want to give Houston love there,
I think technically Chiefs are considered the underdogs.
I think that's an even matchup. So I'm not doing that. That one's boring. Like you could say either or for that one. That's like a 50. That's more 50-50.
Yeah, a little bit more on the line side. Your keys to win is to your O-line.
Yeah.
Right? Your O-line has been really good. Todd Bowles blitzed the hell out of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Your O-line's going to have to deal with that blitz.
And Goff is prone to mistakes this year.
Yeah, he has.
General.
He has made mistakes.
He kept the ball well.
Goff did what Goff needed to do against the Rams.
Yeah.
If Goff does what he needs to do against the Buccaneers, which I believe he does, I will pick the Lions. And for me, the Lions and Niners will play in the
It
NFC
just sucks that Lions playing a dome because the weather won't be as big of a factor then.
Yeah.
As well. But yeah, no, I'm. This is my upset. I'll go with it. This is like I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and like I said, the championship pedigree on that side as well is also the main reason why. And I'm not, obviously QB wise, you got to give edge to Jared Goff. I get that, but I don't think they're miles apart.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you got to give credit to Baker. He's definitely closed the gap.
There's definitely,
for sure.
They're like in the same tier or half a tier apart, if anything.
No, Jared Goff's one tier ahead.
Still. For me, they're half a tier apart.
Like Jared,
based on this
they're
year,
still in different tiers.
Yeah, and then the weapons are relatively the same. It depends. It's gonna come down to the trenches, most likely. Like every playoff game will, and hopefully officiating is not a factor in this game. Like it probably will be.
It'll be physical.
But yeah, give me the upset. Give me Tampa Bay. I'm calling it.
All right, Tampa Bay Lions is our predictions for here. So that covers the NFL Divisional Round. We're gonna move on to some NFL news. As usual, off-season news kicking in. Retirements are kicking in as well. Starting off.
Not true though, according to Jason Kelsey. So yeah,
that's not true.
On the New Heights podcast. Well, I will get to it right now.
Yeah.
But Jason Kelsey, it was reported that he would be retiring this season, even before the playoff in general. And reports come after that he is retiring. It seems like he will be, but he did come out on his podcast with Travis Kelsey, the New Heights podcast, that he hasn't made a decision yet. And he said it perfectly. It's tough to come with a decision after emotions, after that type of game, that type of loss they had. For me, who knows? That could probably change his mind, if anything.
Honestly, yeah.
If he was considering retirement, just the way they lost wasn't the greatest. There was a lot of turmoil, drama, internal drama on the team. Like he doesn't want to deal with that anymore.
You want to go out like on decent terms at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Like Brady, yes, he won the Super Bowl. People were like, oh, you could have retired then.
Then he kind of went on bad terms, even though they made the playoffs with the 8-9.
But then when he actually retired, like losing to the Rams, it was a close game against the Rams. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
And then he retired. We're like, okay, it makes sense. And then he decided to come back and mess it up.
Ruins it even more. Yeah. So Jason Kelsey has confirmed that he hasn't officially retired yet. He hasn't made a decision yet, is the thing. And we'll see, right?
He is 36. Obviously, NFL
one
careers
of the greatest centers of all time.
NFL careers are shorter than compared to other sports.
Especially for a lineman.
Yeah, they'd beat
where you're
up and
prone
stuff.
for more injuries.
As well. But yeah, no, one of the greatest centers of all time. And if it is retirement, we'll miss you because that personality is hilarious.
And now he's more known because of the Swift factor.
And the podcast is booming as well.
Yeah, podcast booming. I could see him in media.
You could just
see
see him,
as a coach.
yeah. So like, there's a future, obviously, in Kelsey, like with Jason Kelsey. Like, it feels like he has himself set up for after retirement.
Yeah. Let's move on to the head coaching news before we go to the other random firings. Starting off with the firing we thought was going to happen. That's not happening, which literally just came out a couple of minutes ago here. Mike McCarthy is set to return for his 5th season as a Cowboys head coach. First of all, 5th season. I honestly thought it was like his 3rd. It felt like 3. But yeah, he'll be back. Jerry Jones announced that on Tuesday.
All right, so another Dallas implosion coming next season.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that.
So, Cowboys fans, get ready.
Jones said he believes his team is still very close. I agree with him. I don't think you don't have the right leader to lead it. That's all.
Yeah.
Now to your point, this is where I'm like, okay, Jones, get off the team as a GM, right?
Okay, the thing is this. You as a roster, like, I'm not saying blow it apart, right? Like, I'm not saying, like, the roster is still talented, don't get me wrong, right? Like, Jerry Jones still put out a decent roster. But when you're looking as clueless as they did in the playoff game, there's something wrong with the coaching. And they've done that many years, right? Like, 2 years in a row when they lost to San Francisco, their final drive it looked like what the hell they're doing. It felt like me and you were playing.
Yeah.
Like they had no clue what was going on. So that comes down to coaching.
So it is the final year of his contract. Maybe that's why he wants to save money, but that's dumb because you're gonna waste another year. You gotta pay your quarterback most likely.
You gotta find a quarterback,
unless you could find an upgrade somewhere somehow. Wrong decision in my opinion. There's a lot of coaches out there, right? You could try to convince Pete Carroll to get out of Seattle if you want to.
Especially
there's Bill Belichick.
Especially when he's available.
Yeah, there's Mike Vrabel still available. So, yeah, I don't get it. The way you guys lost this year, once again, was the reason why I thought the Giants would be better than them, but they proved me wrong during the regular season. But that ain't going to win you a chip. And you're another one and done exit or whatever. The way you lost was brutal. I'm not surprised because people thought Jason Garrett should have been fired, and then he kept him along for a couple more years. It's also because Jerry Jones, whenever I hear Marcus Spears and all these guys talk on, because he's a former Cowboy himself. The thing with Jerry Jones is he wants control, and if you're gonna get it Belichick, I doubt you won't get to control Bill Belichick.
That's true, yeah.
You could control Mike McCarthy, especially when you did. Right?
So is this a Jerry Jones imprint?
It's more of it's a Jerry Jones imprint.
Is McCarthy just
people weren't so happy with the hiring in the first place.
Is McCarthy just a yes man to Jerry Jones?
Yeah, essentially. That's what Jason Garrett was.
Is Jerry Jones the actual coach of this football team?
Probably.
Because probably is.
Because think about it, like you hire Mike McCarthy when there's other options available at the time, and you let them do their thing, right?
So the interview process for the Cowboys might be like, you're gonna listen to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then all the good coaches
to your
like,
point, like
all the good coaches are like, no.
I didn't blame Jerry Jones for the way they lost. Yeah, that's on coaching. I get it. He hired the coach. There's control there. But I don't think Jerry Jones plays on the field. That's why I disagreed with that. But the bigger picture is the same thing. He's the owner. He wants control already. Because of that, he named himself and his son GM or president, and whatever the case is, he has personnel decisions. So which means he could still control the coach he wants, and he could tell him like, hey, we're going to get you this, right? Not going to work like that, right? And that's the problem with this. And yeah, so if this is the case, it's stupid. I won't be surprised if Dallas bows out again. Jerry Jones will save money by not paying 2 coaches at once. He'll just go out and get another coach, whoever he wants, whether that be Dan Quinn if he's available again, and he will just promote him. So yeah, I think I'm not surprised necessarily, but I think I'm surprised but not surprised. You get what I mean?
Yeah. If you guys want a full Dallas Cowboys reaction, go check our last pod because we talk about this way more.
Yeah.
Talk about McCarthy way more as well.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Moving on to the next head coach.
Also not leaving.
This dude is not leaving.
But he deserves not to leave.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin announced to his players
and coaching staff,
that like he will not leave. That doesn't mean the Steelers can't kick him out.
Because Pete Carroll said the same thing.
Yeah. So obviously it'll be a dumb decision if the Steelers do kick him out because Mike Tomlin in 17 straight years has a over 500 record, or 500 or better record as well. So,
in my opinion, whoever the GM is, the ownership, you have to support Mike Tomlin, get him a QB that he could fit with, whether that be you go trade for Justin Fields. Yes, I will blame Mike Tomlin slightly because he kept Matt Canada along. I don't know if it was his decision or the GM's decision, like it could like the Jerry Jones thing, but
I feel like Mike Tomlin,
because the thing with Pittsburgh is they don't change coaches or coaching staffs, especially in the middle of the season, but in general, often.
I feel like there's got to be something like, yes, obviously Mike Tomlin is the same coach. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you got to see some change in Steelers, especially on the offensive side. So just find a way to get a better offensive staff. At the end of the day, you need to win a
championship, and that's what your organization is known for.
You need a QB, and you got to find a way to
you're the team
find a way to win change your offensive staff, OC, and all these things here.
You're
O-line
the team
coach
that had Terry Bradshaw's QB, then you had Ben Roethlisberger later on down the line. You ain't gonna win with Kenny Pickett. You ain't gonna win with Mason Rudolph. You ain't gonna win with whoever else is there.
Although Mason Rudolph does give
you ain't winning shit.
Does give you the best chance, but
which is not. Yeah, you're not gonna go anywhere. You might go 9-8 and then bow out in the first round again. Like the team ain't that great. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But speaking of offensive coordinators, we got 2 firings. Number 1, the Browns have fired OC Alex Van Pelt, tight ends coach TC McCartney, and running backs coach, little surprising, Stump Mitchell.
Tight ends coach, really?
Huh?
Tight ends coach?
Tight end coach, running backs coach, and their OC.
I mean, David Njoku.
According to Justina Anderson.
David Njoku had a really good year.
Yeah, and then I don't think the running backs were that terrible this year either.
I guess, I know, maybe Stefanski wants to look for some change.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Stefanski is the offensive guy himself, so
yeah. So
little surprising. I'm surprised.
I'm a little bit surprised,
considering what the roster you had that was decimated.
Okay, I could see Alex Van Pelt as OC just because we're not getting the best out of Deshaun Watson. At the end of the day, he is your main QB.
Yeah.
So maybe I could see something like that happening. Titans coach, I'm definitely surprised just because David Njoku cooked this year, especially with Flacco.
But how much was that with Stefanski, and how much was that?
And then running backs coach, obviously.
Yeah, but again, I agree with you there. Yeah. Running backs coach, like.
But maybe I think they're trying to look for some change just to get Deshaun Watson.
But the change was like they're not healthy.
Huh?
They're just not healthy.
I know, but when Deshaun Watson was on the field,
true, but
he was pretty
the other guys too in general, they were just not healthy. At the end of the day.
Yeah, no, obviously they're not healthy, but the issue is your quarterback was dreadful when he was on the field, and the guy you brought in, who's 38 off the couch, was miles ahead of him.
Yeah.
As a quarterback this year.
A little surprising for me. Like, obviously, I didn't expect anyone to get fired here. Maybe, yeah, you're right. They just want to change something internally. Maybe there's internal shit that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Right? Simple as that. Another firing, which I'm not surprised by, but I'm surprised on this part, is that the Saints fired their offensive coordinator, Pete Carmichael.
Yeah, which was expected.
I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised that Dennis Allen is making that decision. Because why is he still employed?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to move on from the Dennis Allen part just because he is employed. If he was going to get fired, he would have been fired by now.
Also fired our senior offensive assistant, Bob Bicknell, and wide receivers coach, Cody Burns. Not surprised once again.
Offensively, Dennis Allen's a defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the bigger issues on this team was offense.
Yeah.
So I could see Dennis Allen is not Brandon Staley. With Dennis Allen's with the Saints defense, they were still decent.
Yeah.
Where Chargers were absolutely horrible.
But the problem is, this is like a scapegoat situation again with Mike McCarthy.
But at the end, think that Mike McCarthy is an offensive guy.
I know. I'm just saying in general. Yeah. I'm talking about the overall picture.
The overall picture of the Saints, their offense was not good.
Yeah.
For a better part of the season.
But even with the Staley side of things, their offense kind of struggled. Kellen Moore kind of made it okay. The overall head coach decisions weren't the greatest.
That's what helps Dennis Allen's case. That's what I'm trying to say here.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's, again, the point is his overall leadership isn't there. That's the question.
Oh, yeah. That's all.
Dennis Allen aside, there's options on the offensive coordinators that might be available, whether you could get, poach someone from a different team to promote someone like a Jim Bob Cooter, how he got poached from Jacksonville that way. Because the difference between this and college is, in college, you could clearly just take another guy's head coach. That's what Alabama did, right?
I guess.
And then Washington took Arizona's coach, and then Arizona took San Diego State's coach, and San Diego State's probably going to take, I don't know, whoever else's coach, right? Like that works in college, which is kind of weird. Here, you could easily deny someone from moving, or you have to trade. Like Belichick could have been traded if they didn't come to a mutual agreement to part ways, right? So in this case, yeah, like I'm not surprised by the firings. I'm just surprised Dennis Allen's a coach. You just go find yourself a better offensive because you have. I think Derek Carr's still okay. Like I'm not saying he's like clearly he proved me wrong in terms of how bad he was last year. But how much was that on the play calling? That's number one. But number two, there's a lot of checkdowns as well. But you still have Michael Thomas. You still have Chris Olave. You have Alvin Kamara.
Chris Olave is the main man with Alvin Kamara. Chris Olave and
but I'm saying you have Mike Thomas, and he's been there for a bit.
He's not the same.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's still been there.
He's definitely not the same. I think you could draft another wide receiver potentially.
For sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you still have solid weapons in those three guys.
Yeah, you have decent weapons, yeah.
Yeah, like you have one of the best running backs in the game. You have an up-and-coming receiver. Michael Thomas, I didn't watch much Saints because they sucked and they were boring to watch. So I can't comment too much. Saints fans, you guys could comment down below what you guys think. But yeah, not surprised by this at all.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Nothing much to say for here. But this one thing for sure though, whenever we preview next season, Howie puts Staley off the bat as the first guy that will be fired. Dennis Allen replaces him in that
probably.
list now.
And there's also Saints are in cap hell as well. Like a lot of older players. They still play good. Don't get me wrong. Like DeMario Davis, Cameron Jordan, but there are also a lot of money given to them as well. But yeah, so that wraps up our NFL talk for today. We're gonna move on.
Comment you guys' predictions down below. Sorry, last thing, predictions down below. But also, I already put the polls. They're scheduled to come out. Who do you think who will win the games on the weekend? NBA, quickly, we're not going to talk much about the Pascal Siakam side of things. We already dropped a video, but I did drop a poll already. Who do you think won that trade? Comment that or vote on that as well on the YouTube channel community post.
All right, next up, MLB. Jays signed someone.
Yuriel Cabrera, who's Cuban but played in the Japanese league.
Yeah, and apparently he had a strong year in the Japanese league, so it was Yuriel Cabrera, right? Yeah, so the Jays were interested in him, which honestly makes sense. Starting pitcher as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what impact he can make.
He's gonna be a depth pitching piece to the stack.
We'll see.
We have.
We'll see. Obviously, Japan League is no joke. We already know this. Especially the fact that Japan won the WBC as well, which gives you prime evidence that the Japanese League is no joke.
Yeah.
And this is interesting just because we signed a pitcher.
Yeah.
Where we need batters.
It's pending a physical still. There's hurdles with his immigration status, according to Ken Rosenthal. Length of the contract and financial terms not have been reported yet, but it's supposed to be a multi-year deal.
Yeah. Again, starting pitching was a gem for the Blue Jays.
But
the question mark is...
You need depth always.
You always need depth, especially in pitching-wise. And there's two things. Performance-wise, there's still question marks with... Kikuchi, is he going to do the same thing? We don't know what Manoah's going to be, right? And the number two thing is, the reason why your pitching was so good last year is because you had the healthiest bullpen, the healthiest starting pitching group all year. That usually never happens.
Yeah. Outside of that, unless you notice some names, I don't see anyone that signed yet, which is still crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah.
We're almost we're in the middle of January.
Still got the Bellingers, you got the Soler, you got the Chapmans as well.
Blake Snell hasn't signed yet.
Snell hasn't, like a bunch of pitchers haven't signed either. I don't think Montgomery, did he sign? I don't think Montgomery signed either.
Blake Snell, Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola signed.
Sorry, yeah. Josh Hader.
Yeah, he's looking for a lot of money as well.
Jordan Montgomery has not signed.
Yeah, so still a lot of quality pieces left in free agency. The only issue is, are you going to sign Chapman to $150 million? Are you going to sign Bellinger to $250 million? And all this stuff.
Bellinger was like 2 and 3 in the outfield. They're still there. JD Martinez, Reese Hoskins, Jorge Soler, like you mentioned.
There's a lot
Justin
of good players.
Turner, not Kevin. Yeah, I think those are the main. Tim Anderson, I know he's struggled this year, but yeah.
The thing with all these players are they've all been up and down in their career.
Jock and Adam Duvall.
Yeah, so they've all been up and down in their career.
Yeah, that's why it's not a good year. Like that's why I'm not surprised if Chapman's asking for $200 million. I'm seeing why teams are not giving it, including the Blue Jays. I'm seeing why teams are not giving it to Bellinger because Bellinger might be safe to bet to get like a 1-and-1 deal done. Prove it that last year was not a fluke with whatever team he decides to go to. Even Chapman come back to. I don't mind bringing Chapman back for one year, $20 million. I don't care. It's just 1 year. You have no cap space really. Anyways, just do it and then see what you truly have, and show that last year was not a fluke. for Chapman, it's not his bad year, and then for Bellinger, it's not a fluke good year, right?
Yeah, so
that's how it's gotta go. Like spring training stuff is starting what in a month.
Yeah, it's starting
Usually,
soon.
at least the players are gonna start reporting to training.
End of February, right? And then you're gonna
and the
start,
spring training games will start in March.
Yeah, and then in March, and then you got the season.
Yeah,
in April.
All right, let's move on very quickly. UFC massive fight added.
First pay-per-view, right? Is it coming up?
Oh, first pay-per-view this weekend. We got.
Yeah.
There's not much to. I don't know. I'm not gonna predict. I don't know how Dricus fights. He's supposed to be better than Sean Strickland. So on paper,
I feel like I'm going with the contender with the Duplessis.
Yeah.
Reason being, I feel like you got shit kicked in the stands. I don't think any man's gonna take that.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, like Sean wasn't supposed to be in this position anyways. It was supposed to be Izzy.
Yeah.
Sean did upset. He deserves it. Don't get me wrong. But Sean was ranked number 5, and Dricus Duplessis was supposed to be the guy fighting Izzy at that time.
And also, we don't know. Sean's at the top.
Yeah.
Can Sean stay at the top?
Yeah.
Right? There's always a question mark, and it's very important to get your first title defense as a win. But at the same time, I've witnessed the light heavyweight division where it just changes hand every time.
And that being said, Ankalaev should be fighting.
Yeah.
Well, it should be fighting Pereira.
Yeah, so I'm going with Duplessis just because I don't think any man's gonna take that.
I mean, I don't know. Let me check what the betting favorites for that is very quickly. But it's in Toronto, not a great card at all.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday?
Strickland's not happy that he's fighting in Toronto either.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was Vancouver, I'd be more pissed, just cause.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 other Canadians on the main card fighting, and then obviously the undercard has everyone that's at least one person's Canadian, everything, which they usually do that for obvious reasons.
Yeah, obviously. See in Brazil.
Yeah, like women's bantamweight championship is on the line. I don't know who these people are, so not even gonna bother. But right now, based on this, Strickland is -130, which means he's a favorite.
He's a favorite. It makes
According
sense.
to score.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Strickland is don't get me wrong. Strickland fought amazing against Izzy.
Yeah.
But that's only one fight.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, can you do it again? I don't know. A lot of shit's been talked by Strickland as well. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I think they met up today and they were fine, which is hilarious. But
it's jokes.
Yeah.
unless there's a show. Unless there's a ploy. The fight was a ploy in the stands.
Yeah. Let's talk UFC 300. 2 fights have been added. One is Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Don't know much about both. I'm not gonna talk about that. The BMF title is actually for once being defended.
Finally.
Right? Masvidal never defended that shit.
Never.
It's Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF belt.
That's
at
crazy.
UFC 300 in April. I think this is a co-main because I feel like Edwards will fight in the main event, which should be against Bilal in our opinion.
Yeah.
But this is a massive fight.
That was a massive
Both
fight.
guys are punchers, they're strikers. I love Justin Gaethje. If it wasn't for Volk, Holloway should be like king of that division as well.
Yeah.
And I hope I could see a 4th fight for one last time just to see that 3rd fight was not a fluke between Holloway. Like how Holloway was.
I think that story is done, bro.
No, there's rumors that they're going to fight. No.
It depends. Obviously.
There's rumors that they're going to fight. That's why I'm bringing it up.
We'll see.
And I do want to see it now, especially with Volk.
We could see a downfall of a Volk coming up as well.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to catch it. Because we saw Figueiredo and Moreno 4 times, right? If
we
I'm not
did.
mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
I won't be surprised. Like, who else is going to...
If he wins...
If Topuria doesn't win, I'm down to see one last fight just to see.
Yeah, then that's true. I agree with that then.
Because there's no one else who's going to touch either of them. Holloway destroys everybody in his path. Outside of Volk.
Yeah.
Right?
But even the thing is this, what Volk has done in that division, even if Holloway beats him,
yeah,
Volk is still the GOAT.
Yeah, but in this case,
is still the better.
I'm pretty sure it will be lightweight, most likely. So we'll see.
So Holloway's going up.
It's hard for me to predict against either because, like I said, Holloway beats everybody that's not.
We gotta save our predictions.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying early on predictions, but
we gotta save our predictions.
So it's a massive add to the card. I did expect Gaethje to fight. I did see this rumor. I just didn't know how true it was gonna be. So it's true. And yeah, so we'll see who Leon Edwards ends up fighting. Did you hear that there was a rumor that Khabib is fighting Leon Edwards on that card?
Yeah,
it ain't happening.
It's not happening.
It ain't happening.
But yeah, let's move on to Pettersson news from the NHL.
Yeah, so not really news. It's the lack of news. Like, that's the best way to put it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet, who represents the Canucks, usually was talking to Patrick Alvin, and they're figuring out the conversations. And a lot of the news is that, nobody knows what PD wants, including his own agency. How much of that is a media ploy, we don't know. And I saw a post say that, you can't blame PD either because he wanted to sign long-term. You didn't. Blame Benning for that because of all the cap issues there. And then, obviously, the way the organization treated some pieces, whether it be the current regime, previous regime, which includes Bo Horvat. And as much as everybody wants to say about Bo Horvat, they hate him now. He wanted to sign. You guys didn't want to sign him for the value he was at. I agreed with.
Yeah, and then in other
so
cases,
the way he was treated, his close team.
In other cases, yeah, Bruce Boudreau.
That
as
treatment.
Well. Quinn Hughes came out and talked about the Tucker Pullman.
Yeah.
Injuries, and not Tucker Pullman. What? It was other guy.
Tanner Pearson.
Tanner Pearson, yeah.
Yeah.
On the TP, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so obviously there's a case.
And there were concerns that in the beginning of the season, what's this team going to look like, right? Him and JT Miller supposedly have beef, which obviously is not true. I'm just saying they don't. JT Miller coming out said that we don't necessarily get along personality wise. That doesn't mean they hate each other.
Yeah.
Right. And you sign him long term, but not Bo Horvat. And like I said, the whole Bo Horvat thing. People have their own opinions. The way he left, we agree that he never left on bad terms. That's a different story. But so that's why he wants to take his time. Is he good with Rick Tocchet? We'll find out. Is he mad about not getting the captain? We don't know. I don't think so. He doesn't have the personality to talk to the media every day, and I'm sure he is fine with that. But the reason why it's being brought up is because All-Stars are around the corner. He is going to be doing media, especially that it's in Canada. It's in Toronto, right? And what is he going to avoid the media questions? He said he doesn't want to talk, right? But this is going to be like national media coming out, not just the Canucks media. I don't think the Canucks media really talked much about it to him. Mainly because he hasn't really been
open about it.
Open for interviews in general, because it's not his job. If he was captain, a different story.
Yeah. Situation obviously as a Canucks fan is a little bit concerning, just because at the end of the day he still has the potential of leaving.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're getting the best hockey from PD.
So the problem is, the Canucks just want to know if he wants to sign, whether he doesn't want to sign the paper now or not.
Yeah.
Now he could be bullshitting for all we know, but let's just say they get an inkling that he wants to sign. Then they know what to do with the cap. But let's just say he tells you, I don't want to sign long term. You have to trade him at this point. Do you waste this window?
You
that's
can't.
The problem. The way the Canucks are currently playing.
You can't
so
waste
that's
the
why I guess that's where the frustrating part is from the fan base and like from the reports that if we don't know what PD wants. And you can't say fan bases could say that, oh, he'll sign. People said that about Bo Horvat. Look where Bo Horvat is now. Right? And the difference is right now is Bo Horvat did say, I want to be a Canuck. PD hasn't said that yet. What he said 3 years ago is a different story, right? And that's where the concern is. Because as Canucks fans, I agree with that. Because let's just say he wants to leave. And he is an RFA, so you could Kachuk trade him type of thing, which is good. It's not a Nylander situation. But if that's the case, yes, go out and go get Jake Gensel then. Take an opportunity of this window, because the reason why we're here is because of Elias Pettersson, in my opinion, our best player. Yes, you could have an argument with Quinn Hughes and Thatcher Demko. I get that. But at least offensive production on the goal scoring wise, he's the best guy.
In this recent road trip, it's PD Alvarez's game to be the best player right now. There's two things, right? Obviously, the bad is we could lose PD. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The good is he's playing his best hockey.
Yeah.
He's playing with a free mind, right? The year we signed him in training camp. All this offseason was figured out contract, right? He came in the beginning of the year, I'm going to focus on hockey. He's been focused on hockey. Look what's happening.
Yeah.
We're having an incredible year.
And then the other side of things is, the Canucks media and the Canucks fans are just, he said he was going to do this. Stop bothering him about it.
Yeah, but there's also one thing that gives me a little bit of confidence that he will sign. Is at the beginning of the year, he said, with Elliot Friedman, he's like, Elliot Friedman interview, I want to see how the team is, right? He wants to see performance of the team. The team is performing well. So if you're basing off those words, favored, him re-signing in Vancouver should be favored.
Yeah,
right?
we don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Obviously, we do not know. Don't get me wrong, but I'm playing off what is given. He said he would love to be a Canuck, but he has to assess the performance of the team. He wants to see how the team is. The team is absolutely killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I ultimately think, my prediction, I think he will end up signing. The question is, will he sign the Matthews deal, 3-4 years, whatever it is, bridge deal, or will he end up signing long-term? I don't know. Obviously, if I'm dumb, you have to sign long term because PD's number 1 priority, and then number 2 priority is Filip Hronek. So if you're gonna go all in this year, you don't want to trade a Vasily. Like obviously, I'm saying the 2 Swedish guys are untouchable in my opinion. But like a guy like, would you trade instead of Höglander, maybe it's Vasily Podkolzin or Andrei Kuzmenko, a pick, and maybe another B-level prospect for Jake Gensel to take that risk? That's a decision you got to decide, right? Because maybe you don't want to get rid of Podkolzin, but if it means that PD's going to be gone this year and this is our cup window, you go get Jake Gensel, which we talked about it last time. You could check it out. I don't think he will end up getting traded because I think Pittsburgh will make the playoffs. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like I get both sides of this thing, especially if you don't know what his decision is. Like, and if the reports are like, we don't know, his agents don't know, then it's definitely a little bit concerning.
Oh, obviously, there's
But
concern.
It could be a media ploy. Like, we use media tactics all the time.
There's definitely concern, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right? If there's still confusion because the Canucks have been killing it, like at the same time, like when we saw the Canucks go after their hot start, we're like, oh, PD will sign in November.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened yet. So that also that probably goes against what my point is, that what he said. But maybe he just wants to genuinely just wait out the whole year. Obviously, that is a risk. There is a risk to that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't complain about the performance. And at the end of the day, I do believe him playing with a free mind, without any contract, without any of this shit in his head, is producing one of the best hockey years of his life.
Maybe it is in his head and he's doing this because he's technically still without a contract. But if he is, that's insane. Because imagine if he gets the contract and does it better. And the other thing, the last point that maybe PD is concerned with is similar to the Bo Horvat thing. He doesn't have the line mates until now. He has the Lotto line, but for most of his tenure, he didn't have like the Rantanen,
McKinnon duo,
right?
yeah,
like that, or
the Point and
right?
Kucherov duo,
exactly,
yeah.
Stamkos and all of them, right? So maybe that's a concern. Maybe that they're fixing that by getting another second line guy and keeping the Lotto line together. Who knows? We don't know what's happening with that, but yeah, ultimately we'll see what happens. Obviously, PD. I know you're not watching this, but we
love you,
just
PD.
sign you long term, man.
Resign.
You're good. You're a good player. We all know this. We clearly, when you have talent around him, look how name me a better starting five man unit outside of maybe Colorado.
Yeah, especially this year. Obviously, you could still name about like one in Vegas. You could still
one healthy.
You could still name. Obviously, goalie aside, you could still say Edmonton as well. Tampa Bay is always going to be in the conversation as well. But yeah, this year, you can't name anything better.
You mentioned Edmonton. I want to ask this question. Last thing before we get off the NHL topic here. They're probably going to make the playoffs. They're on like an 11-game win streak.
They're going to make it.
Right. I think they're going to end up being a top 3 division seed now because the way Kings are falling. I don't think anyone in the East is going to win the cup. Right? So it's between Edmonton, Canucks, and the Jets, the way it's going. Because the Leafs haven't won in regulation and they've struggled as of late. Is Edmonton... Okay, obviously the Canucks are people projecting to be the team to be Canada's best team this year, go furthest, to probably win the cup if you were to rank them. I still think it's Edmonton.
It's still Edmonton.
If Edmonton were to match up Canucks in the first round, man, I'm going to be scared.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be very scared.
I would honestly, like, bias aside, probably pick Edmonton to win the series.
Yeah, especially, like, they're, like, the situation they put themselves in, right? They're going to be a team that's coming hot into the playoffs, right? And when you have McDavid and Draisaitl playing good, obviously Edmonton's always going to, like, at the end of the day, you always have the best player on the ice in McDavid.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, depending on Draisaitl, who you're playing, you might have the 2 best players on the ice.
Yeah.
And Edmonton's obviously have the playoff experience more than the Canucks do. They have everything. They have more favored, right? The only thing the Canucks have better than Edmonton Oilers, guaranteed, is goaltending.
Yeah. And I anticipate them making a move on defense or goalie. We'll see, though. But, yeah, like, I'm not crazy to say, as much as Canucks fans are going to be like, what the hell? What type of Canucks fans are you? But we're just being real here.
We're being real. It's gonna be, if we line up with Edmonton in the first round, it's going to be scary.
Would you
The best case scenario for the Vancouver Canucks is they win the division, Oilers and Vegas are the 2 and 3.
And then they play them in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even though Seattle's on a heater, I'm not as scared. Even though I think the best case scenario for the Canucks as a whole, that's a win-win-win-win-win situation, is you get Seattle, you get a potential rivalry started that people are making this rivalry to be. And that's like a win-win through media, through the teams, through just fandom, storylines and stuff, right? That's the best situation. But yeah, so if you were to power rank it, will it be? I mean, Winnipeg's killing it, but would you put Edmonton, Canucks, then Winnipeg, and then Toronto as a 4?
Yeah, I could agree with that. Toronto's 4 guaranteed for me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Canucks, I think you could just flip-flop all 3.
Right now.
Yeah.
But I just because like Edmonton's experience plus having the best player in the world probably gives them a little bit of edge on everybody and the hot streak potential.
As well. Winnipeg's also experienced too.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah, that's the NHL talk. Let's end it off with some soccer. Nothing new on the transfer side of things. It's just quiet from what I'm seeing.
A nice little surprising story.
Yeah. Now, granted, keep in mind soccer this year, I haven't followed it as much, non-EPL wise especially. So the fact that I woke up a couple of days ago and then the news broke that Jose Mourinho got sacked, and it was surprising.
Yeah, it's Jose Mourinho, right? Obviously, he's been sacked many times in his career.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, he's one of the greatest coaches.
But the consistency with
soccer.
Jose Mourinho is he gets sacked every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
For a while now. And I don't know if it's because of his personality. I don't know if it's because, the coaching style and all that. Like I said, I've never been a Mourinho guy. But I could acknowledge that he's a top coach for a reason.
Okay, yeah. Roma has, obviously looking at standings-wise, Roma are 9th.
Yeah.
Roma team... Yeah, I wouldn't say they're the top tier in Italy. Like I would still give that to Inter, Milan, Juventus, Napoli, even though they've been struggling themselves. AC Milan.
He did win a Europa Conference League in 2022, which ended a 14-year trophy drought.
So the thing is this: this firing is not like it's not like your typical firing where this guy will get a job again. The question mark is this Jose Mourinho's last job? That's the biggest takeaway I'm taking from this.
Soccer is so big around the world that I don't think it is. I think he might take a national team spot somewhere. Doesn't have to be Portugal, but it could be anywhere.
The reason being is
he's on the last year of his contract as well.
When do you see Jose Mourinho emotional?
Yeah.
He was emotional after
He probably
this
did
one.
not expect it.
Yeah.
As well
so, does he know that his time might be up as a coach? Is he going to stop himself? He's known that he accomplished so much in this game, right? And we can't take away. Doesn't matter if you like his playing style or not. He had a playing style that worked.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
depending on the team, obviously, because I'm speaking of Man United here, but
Roma obviously. Yeah, it was a little bit surprised. Don't get me wrong. I was
when
surprised.
I'm looking at his managerial career, right? This is just a timeline of a thing. 2000, he did Benfica. 01, 02, he did some random team called União de Leiria. 02 to 04, Porto. 04 to 07, Chelsea. 08 to 2010, Inter. 2010 to 2013, Real Madrid. 2013 to 15, back to Chelsea. 2016 to 18, United. 2019 to 2021, Tottenham. 2021 to 2024, Roma. They're all 3-year spurts at the most. 3 to 4 year spurts at the most, right? So that's the thing that I don't get. Why is it only 3 to 4 years? Is it because early on? I don't know. It could be his choice that he wanted to leave. He got a better opportunity.
Obviously, yeah.
But lately, ever since the second Chelsea return, from then on, we saw the reason why he got sacked from Chelsea. Then we saw the reason why he left Man United. We saw the reason why he left Tottenham. Now, Man United and Tottenham are not the best cases because of recent history of how they're managing and their clubs are ran. Because Antonio Conte said the same thing about Tottenham.
Yeah.
And now Roma. The Roma one is a surprise. I understand it's a lack of results. Maybe they ended up replacing him with club legend Daniel De Rossi. Maybe it was a plan all along to put a club legend like many of these clubs do.
De Rossi,
but it's not. Doesn't work. Not outside of Zidane, club legends don't really work out. Look at Xavi. We know a guy who's a big Barcelona fan. He's been putting out #Xavi out for a while. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't work out for a long-term thing as well, whether that was rightfully so or not. You obviously have Lampard and
Chelsea.
We
all thought Gerrard would take over Liverpool.
But he struggled
He can't even manage Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And, the thing is this. Zidane's the only player and coach to kill it. Mourinho was a bad player, good coach. Pep was a okay player, great coach. So, yeah, there's a timeline here. But the thing with Mourinho is, the genuine cause for concern is, he might be done for me, potentially. Just because I'm not saying he won't get an opportunity. I'm saying that he might just call it quits himself.
Yeah, because I don't know. Because the style isn't there for that lasts that long. He always loses a locker room, clearly. Is that always on Mourinho? Maybe not, right? I don't think he's done. I think he wants to prove himself again. I think he might take a national team job somewhere. That's my opinion. I saw Mark Goldbridge tweet it should be England, obviously.
Imagine, yeah.
But yeah, I don't get it. Why is it 3-4 years? It could be strictly contract ends and he just doesn't want to go back. Like, I don't know. But even then, you would try to extend your contract.
That's true. He's
don't-
accomplished so much, but he hasn't really accomplished longevity as a team, like in one team. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll leave it there. It's just very surprising. I did not expect to wake up that morning and see that news. Now, granted, we don't follow Serie A.
I'm not predicting he's done. I'm getting concerned.
Yeah.
Like I gotta share that just because it could be the end of Mourinho.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there. Like I said, we already dropped our reaction to the Pascal Siakam trade. We'll probably revisit it if some news pop up in the future, but I don't think it will. That was just our immediate reaction. Felt weird dropping on the same exact day, literally an hour or so later for the first time. It kind of helped. It was a snow day for us here in Vancouver, Surrey. But other than that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support we've been getting recently. Make sure you guys continue that, especially with the Canucks video. We're at 9.1K. Our only video in the thousands is almost gonna hit 10,000. So like like, comment, subscribe, and for social medias, make sure you guys follow it. Link down below in the link tree. Audio listeners, make sure you guys rate it, download it, review it, and other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.